Hello and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to the BMW 128 Ti. The 128 Ti sits in the range above the 118 and just below the range-topping M135i. Now this, in essence, is a front-wheel drive hot hatch. We've got a 2-litre 4-cylinder petrol engine up front with around 265 horsepower, which means that 0 to 62 is dealt with in around 6.1 seconds, but it feels a lot quicker than that when you're in the driver's seat. What can tell the 128 Ti apart from the normal rest of the range? Well, there are a few key differences that are actually quite funny this car doesn't actually have on it. So the 128 Ti comes with red accents all over the place. So you get these side blades down here in red, a red graphic along the side, slightly different badging at the rear, and red brake calipers. This car doesn't have those. This has the full M Performance body kit fitted as well, which is the splitter down here, the canards along the side, the different bumper along the side, the rear spoiler, and so on. And I think it looks fantastic. This is Storm Bay Metallic as well. This colour looks fantastic, especially in this weird sort of low winter sun. But I think the 128 Ti is a fantastic entry into the lineup. I think the 1 Series is aging really, really well. The grills at the front are large, but not super large like we've now come to expect from BMW. You've got these really lovely Corona rings along the side with LED lights as standard on the front and the rear. This particular car has got adaptive LEDs too. I think it's just aging with grace, this car. I think it's a fantastic looking thing. The overall proportions of it were a little bit controversial when it first came out, but I think it's aging beautifully, beautifully well. And I think it's just a fantastic entry into the BMW lineup. If you didn't want to go full-blown 135, this is, I think, a fantastic car. But what about the interior? The interior of the 128 Ti is just a lovely place to sit. It's not too fussy, it's not all over the place. You know exactly where everything is. If you've owned a BMW in the past, you'll feel right at home in this car immediately. And everything controlled is with buttons still, which is really nice. But the screen in the center is also touchscreen, which you can control, as I say, with touch or with the conventional iDrive down in the middle. It's very, very easy to know where everything is. You've got your Sport, Comfort, Eco, Pro buttons down here, a little button to start it. Nice, easy gear selector. The 128 Ti is only available with an automatic gearbox, an 8-speed ZF gearbox. This particular car has got the Pro Pack, so you've got Harman-Kardon sound system and a few other little bits. The telltale differences for the Ti inside are the red stitching. You get red stitching throughout the seats, red stitching down the center. You get a big stitched in Ti logo on the center armrest. We've got the digital dashboard, which is now a really, really useful thing. Pretty much every car has it now, and it's brilliant. It shows your satellite navigation, your speed limits as well, and it's just super crisp, super clear, and lovely to use. You get Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as well, and it's just a really, really nice place to spend time. You could spend endless miles in this car and not feel fatigued in the slightest. View out is great as well, and everything feels super well put together, rigid, really nice, proper, lovely plastics, nice leathers, materials all over the place. It's a beautiful place to sit. But now I think we need to go and take this car for a little drive to see how it feels. The driver's seat on the road is exactly where the 128 Ti wants to be. It's where it excels. This is where it's meant to be. It's built for the driver. Of the whole 1 Series range, this is the one that I think you'd go for if you wanted to really go out and enjoy a drive. It's built for the driver. It's built for a B-road barnstorm. And for that, this thing is pretty amazing. It's got a lot of character to it, but we'll come on to that in a minute. Firstly, just to pootle around, it's exceptionally comfortable, really lovely and quiet. The roads in the UK are terrible. You can probably see the camera shaking a little bit, but that's because this is a particularly rough road, and the 128 Ti is actually handling it really, really well. Even though it's on the larger alloy wheels, this particular car, it's still riding over it really easily. It's a lovely driving position. You've got a great view out. It's just a lovely place to sit and spend a lot of time. But more than that, it's a lovely place to be when you want to click the gearbox across into sport, put the car into sport mode, and start to enjoy it a little bit, because it really picks up its feet and goes. It's such an incredibly capable cross-country car, this. 1 second you can be just piddling around having a lovely time, the next you can just enjoy everything that this brilliant chassis has to offer. Obviously, being front wheel drive, it's the first time BMW have done a hot front wheel drive hatch, and I think as a first effort at it, this is pretty sensational. The steering is nice and responsive, the gearbox is lightning quick when you've got it in sport mode, and the engine, it's strong, it's got a real lovely tone to it as well in the cabin. Yeah, it picks up its feet and really starts to shift across the road. It feels like it's got bucket loads of character as well. It feels like it wants to be driven harder, it wants to be driven quite quickly, and it wants to enjoy itself on a country road. It doesn't want to spend its time pootling around on motorways and so on, but it can do that incredibly well. But that's not what it really wants to do. That's not its true nature. Its true nature is to get onto some B roads and just have a whale of a time, and you will have a whale of a time while you're driving this car. Considering all the power goes through the front axle, there's not any torque steer, there's not really any, well, there's no understeer. It just feels really well sorted. The chassis feels like it just thrives with this power going through the front wheels. It's a perfect blend of performance and usability. It's not got silly amounts of power going through the front wheels that it just feels unmanageable. No, it just feels like a perfect blend, to be honest. Perfect amount of power for the chassis and the drivetrain. Yeah, it's a pretty special car, this. And if you want any more information on the BMW 128 Ti, please use the link in the description of this video to contact your nearest Sytner BMW team. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel for plenty more content to come, and I will see you guys again really soon.